Hello students, Jai Swaminarayan. I am Professor Urvish Mewada, HOD Electrical Department, Sri Swaminarayan Institute of Technology, Bhat Gandhinagar. I am the subject matter of Power System 2, which is in the 5th semester, and the subject code of the in the GTU is 3150911. Students, we have completed till 5th lecture in the unit number 3. Now the in this unit number 3 transmission line modeling parameter, the topic number 5 is long transmission line. In previous lecture we discussed the medium transmission line and the part of say nominal T and nominal pi method and condenser method of the medium transmission line. Now in this topic we will see the long transmission line. So yes, in this long transmission line, generally the capacitance effect is say we cannot consider over here, because for the short and medium transmission lines, generally we have the say transmission constants which are lumped, means not say properly lumped, and that's why we consider the effect of capacitance. So it is well known that the line constant of this transmission line, say line constants are the susceptance, then the admittance, impedance, reactance, and the resistance and the inductor, all are say uniformly distributed over the entire length of the line. So that's why reasonable accuracy can be obtained in the line calculation for the short and medium transmission line, in case of say by considering this constants as lumped. But if such an assumptions of lumped constants is applied to a long transmission line having length excess about 150 kilometer, so it is found that serious error are introduced. So in this performance calculation, generally therefore in order to obtain the fair degree of accuracy in the performance calculation of the long lines, the line constants are considered as uniformly distributed throughout the lines, and that's why we use rigorous mathematical treatment, so solution of this lines. See, in this if these constants are not equally say distributed, then it can generate the serious error. So we need to see how can we maintain this constants by keeping equal line length, by keeping equal distance between two conductors, then by keeping the same means wire diameter, or by keeping the equal resistance and impedance of the circuit. So by this way we can maintain the distribution or separation of this elements equally, because some elements are imaginary in this, because line say line to line capacitance is imaginary. So if we keep a proper distance between two conductors, if we keep the equal say length of the conductor between each number of poles, so we can maintain the this parameters constant. And if we need to solve this long transmission networks, generally we use rigorous mathematical treatment, so that we can solve this complex network using that method. So this figure shows the equivalent circuit of the three phase long transmission line on a phase neutral basis. Generally whole line length is divided say nth number of sections. So these are the sections that we considered for the sending end to receiving end, and each sections having the constants 1 by n. Over here you can see that b by n, g by n, where b is the capacitive susceptance, this is the conductance of the transmission line, and we have nth number of sections because we are considering a line above to the 150 kilometer. So we have considered nth number of the sections, and the each sections having this susceptance and conductance value, so they are equally distributed. And This whole line is say uniformly distributed, that's why we can maintain the performance, and we can keep the proper performance of the transmission system. So let us consider the first point is the following points may be noted while solving the long transmission system. The first point, that is the line constants are uniformly distributed over the entire length of the line, is actually the case. Means these are the assumptions that we are made before we solve the long transmission system. The resistance and inductive reactances are series element. The third is leakage susceptance B and leakage conductance G are the shunt elements that we already seen in this diagram. Over here you can see that leakage susceptance and leakage conductance both are shunted to each other between each sections. Now uh, the leakage susceptance is due to the capacitance exists between line to neutral generally, and the leakage conductance taken into the account the energy losses occurring through leakage over the inductors or the due to the corona effect between the conductors. So as we discuss all the say leakages in the transmission system, because the transmission voltage or transmission power transfers, say we use the ACSR conductor, so power transfer from the surface of the conductor, so that due to the corona and due to the say uh, uh, interaction of the field of the two windings, two wires, means there will be a there might be a chances of leakage. So here we are considering all the effects, so that's why admittance Y is the say under root of leakage means conductance and leakage susceptance of the all the elements which are spreaded equally between all the sections. The leakage current through the shunt admittance is maximum, yes, because the if the if the line means both are having means long distance, so that say that a capacitance will be more, so there might be a chances of leakage. So leakage current to shunt admittance is maximum at the sending end and of the line, and decreases continuously at the receiving end of the circuit is say approached with the point its value is 0. So why this is maximum, because at the time of start at the starting point, say we have the maximum voltage and current, and at receiving end that will be reduced because of the leakages. So it is not reduced up to that level. Due to this reason, we are considering the leakage current at that in the shunt admittance is maximum at the sending end side, and at the receiving side we considered that effect is negligible or 0. Analysis of long transmission line generally we can made with the help of rigorous method. uh, so that's why let us consider the rigorous method for the analysis. So generally figure diagram shows one phase and neutral connected of three phase line with impedance and shunt admittance of the uniformly distributed system. So here we consider this is the line, this is the neutral, at which at the center we consider the admittance. So this admittance is equally dividing this impedance of the line because it is at center. Now the current which is passing from this side is say I plus di, because current is changing when we are transferring from sending end to going to receiving end, and the current passes through this ydx or admittance is say idi minus I. Idi minus I will be di, and this is the current which is passing after this junction. So this is I. Now voltage at the receiving end side, sending end side, it is V plus dV, because voltage is changing. At the receiving end side voltage is V, means across the Y, and receiving end voltage is VR at the load. Now this is the say distance at which we are considering this effect, that is dx, and after dx we are considering this is the say length x. We will consider the change in the voltage and change in the current. So consider a small element in line to line length, say length dx, which is situated at the center at the distance from say x from the receiving end. So we have considered this distance x. After x we are considering the situation. Now z is the series impedance of the line per unit length, and y is the shunt admittance of the line per unit length, where v is the voltage at the end of element towards receiving end, and v plus dv is the voltage at the end of element towards the sending end. Then idea is the current entering the element, say dx. Over here see it is entering. I is the current leaving the element dx. Then for small element dx, the zdx is the series impedance and ydx is the shunt admittance. So it is obvious that if we write an equation for the v, then v is equal to I into z. So change in voltage dv is equal to I into z dx. So from this we can write that dv by dx is equal to I into z. Keep it number one. So let us consider the second case. Now the current entering the element is I plus di, because in this diagram you can see that this in this network current is entering is I plus di. So whereas the current leaving to the element is I. So at this point, after this point current is leaving is I. So the difference in the current flows through the shunt admittance of the element, say di. It is current flowing current through the shunt admittance of the element is I is equal to say vy, and it is at dx, so it is dy v into y into dx. Now from this we can write the equation di by dx is equal to v into y, and here dv by dx is equal to I into z, because v is equal to I into z and I is equal to v into y. Generally it is I is equal to v upon z, but z inverse will become y. So that's why di by dx is equal to v into y. In terms of admittance, this is equation in terms of admittance, and this is the equation in terms of impedance. Now differentiating both the equations with respect to x, so this the equation number one will become d square v by dx square. So the terms was I into z. So z is means it is over here. So di by dx is equal to z into di by dx is equal to vy. See over here, if you differentiate in terms of x, so z into di by dx, because we are differentiating the variable term, so di by dx. So di by dx we have from the equation number 2 is v into y. So we are replacing this value with vy. Basically di by dx is equal to vy from the equation number 2. So d square v by dx square is equal to y into z into v. So the solution of this differential equation is, we can write in terms of cos and sine is this is the mathematical term you need to means solve by yourself, or you can take help from the mathematic books. So the differential equation after this is v is equal to k1 cos h x under root yz and k2 sin h x under root yz. So from this equation number 4, let us differentiating this equation with respect to x. So v will become dv by dx, and then k1, and then this term is outside yz. Here we are considering the x, that's why cos will become sine, and sine h into x under root of yz. And again the next term is k2 under root yz. Sine will become cos, so cos h x and under root yz. So but generally we have dv by dx is equal to iz from the means equation number 1. So dv by dx will become iz k1 under root yz sine hx under root yz plus x k2 under root yz cos h x into under root yz. So the I will become z will go into the denominator, so y by z into k1 sin h x under root yz plus k2 cos h x under root yz. This is the equation number 5. Equation number 4 and 5 give the expression for the v and I. Yes, we have the value of v and I from that two equations in form of unknown constants k1 and k2. So the value of the k1 and k2 can be found by this. So if we keep x is equal to 0, if we take x is equal to 0, so v is equal to v will become v is equal to vr and I will become I is equal to ir. So putting these values in equation number 4, we will have vr is equal to k1 cos the x is 0, that's why the term x into under root yz will become 0, then cos 0 k2 sin h 0 because x is 0, so sin 0 0 and cos 0 1, so that's why vr is equal to k1. And as vr is equal to k1, so similarly putting x is equal to 0, then v is equal to vr and I is equal to ir. In equation number 5 we will get ir is equal to I is equal to, this I is replaced with the ir, so ir is equal to y by z k1 sin x is equal to 0 over here, so sin 0 k2 cos x is equal to 0 is over here, so cos h 0, so cos 0 1, so under root yz into k2. Then if we make k2 as a subject, then under root z upon y into ir. So by placing this values of x I and v, we will have this equation. Substituting this value of k1 and k2 in equation number 4 and 5, so v is equal to vr cos h as x under root yz plus under root y under root z by y ir into sin h x into under root yz, and I will become z y by z under root vr then sin h into x into under root yz plus ir cos h x under root yz. So the sending end voltage vs and the current is are obtaining by putting x is equal to l. So this is the length, because we are considering the effect of leakage admittance and leakage susceptance and is at the center of the circuit, so that's why l will become the length. So x is replaced with the l, so the equation will become vs is equal to vr cos h x is replaced with the l over here, so l under root yz plus under root of zy ir sin h l under root y into z. And the current will equation will become is under root y by z vr sin h into l under root yz plus ir cos h l under root of yz. So l under root of yz is equal to under root of ly into l, so that's why ly into lz, so that will become y admittance into z. So here the l is multiplied inside the root, so under root of l into under root of l is equal to l, so that's why ly into lz, that's why it is become admittance of this particular line length, and this is the impedance of this particular line length. That's why under root of yz is equal to y into l divided by z into l is equal to y by z. So y is the total shunt admittance of the line and z is the total series impedance of the line. So let us consider y is equal to total shunt admittance and z is equal to total series impedance. So therefore the expression of vs and is will become vr cos under root of yz plus ir under root of zy sin h under root of yz. So is will become vr under root of y by z by putting that values of y in under root of y and z, sin h under root yz plus ir cos h under root of yz. So it is helpful to expand hyperbolic, because this is the h over here hyperbolic sine and cosine in terms of their power series. So cos yz is equal to 1 plus zy by 2 plus z square y square by 24 plus so on up to the network, and sin yz is equal to under root of yz under root of yz plus yz raised to 3 by 2 root of this divided by 6 plus up to so on. So this is how we can solve this uh, long transmission line using rigorous method, and these formulas we can use to place hyperbolic sine and cosine terms for the nth number of network. Now let us consider the example based on rigorous method, so that will be more clear to you. So example number 1, that is, yes, example number 1, a three-phase transmission line, it is about 150 kilometer, that's why it is long transmission. So long kilometer long has the following constants. The constants are: the resistance per phase per kilometer is 0.16, reactance per phase per kilometer is 0.25 ohm, and the shunt admittance y is per phase per kilometer 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 6 Siemens. Now calculate it by rigorous method. The sending and voltage and the current when the line is delivering a load, say 20 megawatt at 0.8 lagging power factor. So calculate the this means using long transmission method by rigorous method, the sending and voltage and the current when the line is delivering a load of 20 megawatt at zero point 0.8 lagging power factor. So 20 megawatt is delivering, it means it is receiving and power. So the receiving and voltage is kept constant, say 110 kV. So let us solve this example. The data which is given, that is resistance per phase, is given as 0.16, and we have the 200 kilometer line. So 0.16 into 200, that is 32 ohms, and total reactance per phase XL is equal to 0.25, and it is multiplied with the total line length, so that's why the XL will become 50 ohm, and total shunt admittance per phase Y is equal to J into 15, sorry, 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 6. So it is multiplied with its length multiplied by 200, so it will become R angle theta form 0.003 at angle 90, and the series impedance per phase Z is equal to R plus JXL. We have the value of R from this, we have the value of XL from this. By placing this value, we will get this in terms of R angle theta, that is 59.4 at angle 58 degree. Now the sending and voltage Vs per phase is given by, so this is the cos h formula that we derived from the previous theory, theory of this means type of this example, rigorous method. So Vs is equal to Vr into cos h under root of yz plus Ir z by y sin h into y z into y. We have all these values. By placing these values, we can have the v is equal to under root of zy. So that will become just a moment, that will become 59.4 at angle 58 and into 0.03 at angle 90, so it is 0.13 3 at angle 74. So zy is equal to the 0.0178 at angle 148 degree, and z square y square will be 0.032 at angle 296 degree. So under root of this is the under root of zy, this is the under root of z by y. So it is 59.4 at angle 58 degrees, so y is equal to this. So after solving this, we will get 445 at angle minus 16 degrees. So under root of y by z will become reciprocal of this, so 0.0024 at angle 60 degree. So cos under root of yz is equal to 1 plus we have that series in the last of the theory that we seen, 1 plus zy by 2 z square y square by 24. So by placing all these values of z and y, we will have the output that is in R angle theta form, that is 0.092 at 0.26 degree. This is the means solve this by your way, and the required form is R angle theta, so it is 0.092 0.992 at angle 0.26. Now sin y into z, this is the this is the series that was we derived in uh, mm, the the last means session of the section of the theory, that is under root of yz into yz raised to 3 by 2 by 6. By putting all the values, we have the y in z, it is 0.133 and sorry 133 at angle 74 degree, and the yz raised to 3 by 2 is 0.024 at angle 222 degree. Then it is divided by 6, so that will become 0.0362 plus j 0.1275. And if you convert this a plus jb form in r angle theta, that is 0.1325 at angle 74.6 degree. Now the receiving end voltage is Vr is equal to we have 110 into 10 raised to 3 kV, and this is converted at the say line to line voltage divided by root 3, so 63508 into V. So receiving and current will be IR is equal to 20 into 10 raised to minus 6, that is the power which is delivered at the receiving end. And this is nothing but the equation of P is equal to VI cos phi. So root 3 V is the 110 into 10 raised to 3, and cos phi R is 0.8. So from that we can determine the value of R, that is 131 ampere. Now putting the various values in expression number 1, so we will get Vs in terms of r angle theta. These are the values that we obtained from the equations, all the means formulas. So by placing these values, we will get 67,366 at angle 5.50 degree. Now the sending and line to line voltages, the voltage is converted into the line to line, it is divided multiplied by root 3. So 67,366 multiplied by root 3, so that will become 116.67. And the sending end current is equal to Vr into under root y by z sin h under root yz plus ir cos under root of yz. So putting various values, we will get is is equal to this. By placing all these values, we will get 129.83 plus j 19.42. So the r angle theta form of is 131.1 at angle 8 degree. So sending and current will become 131.1 ampere. So students, after our the session, we have the assignment question, that is explain long transmission line analysis using rigorous method. And these two are the examples which are related to the rigorous method. The related answers are given at the and means bottom of the question. So these are the answer, you can match your answer with this. Students, if you have any query or any doubt after this session, we can have the say doubt solving session. So you can ask any means queries which arise during you see the lecture. And if you want to call me related to this topic, feel free to call me anytime. The related instructions or to the assignment which is written below to this assignment question, please read it carefully. You can take the snap of this for the solution and to write the assignment. Thank you very much, student. Thank you all. Jai Swaminarayan.